the big guns were all blazing out in Delhi, campaigning for their own parties. But what will Delhi really decide? Will opinion polls prove right, or will the BJP pull the rabbit out of the hat? We are joined by two very, very special guests who've followed Delhi and its politics very closely for now. Sagarika Ghose, the consulting editor of the Times of India, and Prabhu Chawla, the editorial director of the New Indian Express. Thanks both of you for joining us. So, Sagarika, if I may begin by talking to you about the opinion polls that have suggested advantage AAP. Do you really believe Delhi is ready and willing to forgive Arvind Kejriwal for actually quitting office in just the first 49 days of being there?
It's quite incredible, Supriya, but it seems as if the AAP has actually scripted quite a political success story. Just a year ago, in fact, the anger with AAP was extremely high. People were incensed that after winning the number of seats that it won 28 seats in the last assembly elections, that AAP actually forwent its responsibilities, abdicated its responsibilities, and in fact became the Bhagora. But what AAP has done very interestingly is that even after its debacle in the general elections, where, as you know, AAP contested 400 seats but won only 4, even after that debacle, after relinquishing power in Delhi, it actually went back to the drawing board and reinvented its politics. And it reinvented its politics in a way that I believe is now helping it reap these dividends, because it went local, it went grassroots, it went specific, it went door-to-door campaigning in Delhi. It really scripted a kind of fairly remarkable political turnaround, which has made it extremely nimble to changing conditions and has made it a party which actually mutates very fast. It changes very fast according to the kind of conditions it's in. So therefore, it has scripted, I believe, a political comeback story.
Chawla, comment on that. Would you agree with Sagarika Ghose that that the Aam Aadmi Party has actually scripted a phenomenal political turnaround and is today in many ways a reoriented political force?
Yeah, they have done much better during the past 1 week because they have been very focused. They have put the ruling party BJP on the defensive, because this is the first time I've seen BJP running a very negative campaign. This is what I think Kejriwal was trying to provoke them, and they got trapped into his style of electioneering, which is non-conventional. So BJP, all with its half a dozen or over a dozen ministers, are trying to run him down through various negative publicity, and that doesn't work in a middle-class city like Delhi. I think he has trapped them. It has become a negative vote. There are no issues involved, because if the issue-based elections were held, I think BJP had an edge over Kejriwal. But somehow Kejriwal has converted the whole thing into Kiran Bedi versus himself. And that's why they are now after him individually rather than after his program.
All right. But Sagarika, just to pick up from the point where we left at, will we actually see a new avatar of Arvind Kejriwal if he does come to power on the 10th of February? I mean, less anarchist, but more of an able administrator this time around?
Possibly so, Supriya. I think that's probably right. He was seen as an anarchist. He was seen as someone perpetually on dharna. It was an unprecedented sight to have a chief minister of Delhi actually, in fact, out on a dharna on the street. There were various populist promises made of free water and free electricity, which struck fears of bankruptcy of the Delhi exchequer. I believe AAP is on a learning curve. And if you look at the kind of interviews that Arvind Kejriwal has been giving, he struck a much mellower, much more mature note. He's gone out of his way to say that he's not anti-business. He's gone out of his way to say that dharnas were only for the people. He doesn't attack other politicians, opposition politicians, in the way he used to. In an interview to the Times of India, he's actually said he wants to be a constructive, wants to play the role of a constructive, cooperative chief minister with the central government should he come to power. He does not want to pursue a politics of confrontation with the Modi center if indeed he comes to power. So I believe AAP is trying to strike a different note. This is why I said they're very nimble. They're learning fast and they're changing to circumstances. Politically, they are very nimble and they mutate very easily. So I think very quickly and intelligently. So the AAP of 2013 is certainly not the AAP that you have today.
That's an interesting point. The AAP of today is very different from the AAP of 2013. But Mr. Chawla, if I may throw the same question to you, have you seen a more mature Arvind Kejriwal all through this political campaign? He's not anti-business. He's not calling for sensational press conferences, giving out names, calling names to India Inc. Will we actually see a more able administrator take center stage if AAP were to really form the next government?
You see, any new political leader evolves himself, and so has Mr. Kejriwal. The question is, when he fought an election, he was a mercurial, very aggressive political leader, and thinking everybody else is dishonest except him. And he realized that politics is a game of reality, of compromises, where you have to forget your ideology sometime, you have to compromise. And I think he's trying to be more mellower than he was earlier. That may be a strategy, because Delhi is a middle-class society where traders play a very important role in the final outcome of elections. And moreover, he also thought he has to not only capture the Congress space, he has also taken some of the bases of the BJP, which is middle class, Punjabis, refugees. All that will come only when you're seen like a compromiser, some kind of compromiser who can carry the others with him. Yes, strategically, he is much more mellowed, he is much more accommodating, he is much more reconciliatory. He has given up the confrontation is past, because he has put the BJP on the defensive.
So, Mr. Chawla, let's get down to what went wrong then for the BJP, assuming that these opinion polls have got it right. Do you think that the import of Kiran Bedi has actually backfired significantly for the BJP?
On the face of it, the opinion polls are correct, because converting into a Kiran Bedi versus Kejriwal fight, Kiran Bedi was not a winner at all. She is honest, she is competent, she has done a very wonderful job, and she is well respected, but somehow she is not a political leader who can fight the politics, because she is seen an outsider at the moment, and BJP is well entrenched in Delhi. They have been there for the last 55 years, they have been contesting elections. Old leaders have been sidelined, and he could have been a good lieutenant governor, a good police commissioner, or a good vigilance commissioner. That job could have been given to her. And by imposing her, I think BJP lost the advantage which it had earlier before she was fielded as a chief minister candidate, because she is not seen as a political worker, she is not seen as a team leader, she is a loner and she can fight her own battle. I think Kejriwal is seen more as a team leader, in the sense he is more with the masses, and Kiran Bedi was seen more with the classes. Therefore, there is a different kind of things that are emerging. She is a class leader and he is a mass leader.
Sagarika, we'll let you have the last word. Is this a referendum for Prime Minister Modi as well? Congress says, if Modi says Delhi reflects mood of the nation, so it should hold true for an unfavourable verdict too. We're already seeing some noises from the BJP trying to distance the Prime Minister from a potential adverse verdict. What's your view?
I don't believe it's a referendum on the Prime Minister. I've heard the Congress make that argument. I do not believe that that is the case. I believe it is very much a referendum on Arvind Kejriwal. In fact, Modi and the BJP are less of factors in Delhi this time. It's actually Arvind Kejriwal and AAP which are the factors, and it is because of the circumstances of the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi, which is why we're getting the result we're getting. You know, in a state like Bihar, where there may be Lalu and Nitish united in the kind of caste arithmetic, but there is no narrative against the BJP, there is no alternative really to the BJP. There, I think you might find very much that again the Modi wave triumphs in Bihar, whereas in Delhi, you actually have the Aam Aadmi Party with a narrative, with a context which is very rooted in Delhi. As I say, they've gone local, they've gone grassroots, they've gone right to the bottom. As you know, 20% of Delhi is Dalit. The AAP has made significant inroads into that community. The AAP has understood the changing demographics of Delhi very well, which is that it's a city dominated by the poor. It's a city dominated by migrants. It's a city where there are 5 lakh cycle rickshaws, 6 lakh street vendors. So it has captured the changing demographics of Delhi. So I think the success of AAP and the defeat of BJP is very much to do with the context of Delhi and the context in which the Aam Aadmi Party finds itself in Delhi. I do not believe this is a referendum on either the BJP or Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Not a referendum on Prime Minister Modi, says Sagarika Ghose. Always a pleasure having you with that perspective, Sagarika. Thanks for joining us right here on Business Tonight. Mr. Chawla, thank you as well for joining in now.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.